The night everything shifted, I was dressed in a red gown that cost more than my in-laws' entire mortgage for the month. They had no idea, of course. To them, I was still the struggling artist who had ensnared their beloved son Thomas. I'm Rebecca Jang, and for the past 2 years, I had allowed my husband's family to believe I was an artist scraping by in their high society world. But the truth? I secretly ran Jang International, one of Asia's leading tech companies, a fact I kept hidden from everyone, until tonight. Did you get that from a second-hand store? Sneered my sister-in-law, Amanda, as I entered the Bradley Foundation's annual charity gala. She was wearing a designer dress from last season, the same one I had refused to buy because it seemed tacky. Something like that, I replied, adjusting my fake diamond necklace that was actually my grandmother's and worth more than Amanda's entire closet. Then came my mother-in-law, Eleanor Bradley, swooping in like a hawk. "Rebecca, darling," she said, dripping with false sweetness, "you really should have let us buy you a proper dress for tonight. We can't have people thinking the Bradley family doesn't take care of its own." "That's thoughtful, but I'm quite happy with this," I replied calmly. Over the years, I learned that my composed responses irritated them far more than any outburst could. The Bradleys were a family of old money, or at least, what they thought passed for old money. Their company, Bradley Investments, managed a small portfolio of about $50 million. They lived comfortably, but it was nothing compared to the billions that Jang International was worth. I didn't care much for wealth, but the irony of their constant jabs about my supposed poverty never failed to amuse me. I spotted Thomas across the room, speaking to potential investors. He caught my eye and winked. Thomas knew everything about my true background. He was the only one who did. We met at a business conference where I used a different name, and he quickly pieced together who I really was. Instead of being intimidated, he found it intriguing. We bonded over late-night talks about business strategies and our mutual love of terrible sci-fi movies. "I don't get why you let them treat you like this," he'd said early on. "I want to know who people truly are," I replied. "Money changes everything. I learned that the hard way in my first marriage." Ah, yes, my first marriage, something my in-laws never let me forget. Eleanor would gossip at parties, making it sound like some scandalous disease. The gala was in full swing when everything began to spiral. I was chatting with an elderly couple about their charity work when Amanda intentionally bumped into me, spilling red wine all over my dress. "Oh, I'm so clumsy," she giggled. "But don't worry, I'm sure it wasn't that expensive anyway." I calmly dabbed at the stain, secretly smiling. The dress had been treated to repel wine, and a spill would roll right off. Another little secret of mine. That's when Eleanor decided to make her grand announcement. She raised her glass, silencing the room. "I want to thank everyone for coming tonight," she began. "The Bradley Foundation is excited to announce the expansion of our efforts to help underprivileged women." She turned to look directly at me. "We have a shining example here. My daughter-in-law, Rebecca, came from humble beginnings, but we've taken her in, trying to teach her the finer points of society." The room fell silent. I saw Thomas start moving toward us, his face filled with anger. Though Eleanor continued, her voice sharp, "Some people just can't be refined. They'll always be after wealthy men trying to climb the social ladder." Amanda quickly chimed in, rehearsed as ever. "Mom's right. We tried to help you, Rebecca, but you'll never fit in here. You're embarrassing everyone. Maybe you should leave. I'm sure there's a little coffee shop somewhere that needs someone like you." I stood there, letting their cruel words wash over me. All the patience I'd shown was about to pay off. "You know what?" I said quietly. Eleanor's smug smile made it all the sweeter. "You're right, I don't belong here." I continued, my voice steady. "Unlike you, I don't feel the need to announce my charitable contributions to feel valuable. Unlike you, I don't belittle others to feel powerful. And unlike you, I don't have to worry about Bradley Investments' floundering portfolio." Eleanor's face drained of color. "What are you talking about?" I pulled out my phone, checking my messages. "Oh, just remembered, I should let you know that about 20 minutes ago, my company successfully acquired Morrison & Stanley, the investment firm." Amanda looked puzzled. "What does that have to do with anything?" "Everything," Thomas replied, finally reaching us with a grin. "Because Morrison & Stanley handles all of Bradley Investments' accounts, and my wife's company just bought them." Eleanor dropped her glass, it crashing to the floor. "Your company?" Amanda stammered. I smiled, running my fingers through my hair. "Jang International. Maybe you've heard of it. We're one of the largest players in the tech world, worth about $12 billion at last count. Eleanor gripped a nearby chair for support. That's impossible. You're just a gold digger. I finished her sentence. A struggling artist. It's funny how people make assumptions when they're too busy looking down on others to see what's right in front of them. But this was just the beginning. What happened next would change the Bradley family's world forever. The silence that followed was deafening. I could practically hear the gears turning in Eleanor's mind as she realized how badly she had miscalculated. Even if what you're saying is true, she managed, her voice trembling, Bradley Investments is still independent. You can't touch us. I pulled up another message on my phone and glanced at my husband. Thomas, what time is it? He checked his watch with exaggerated precision. 9:45 p.m. Perfect. That means the papers just went through. Well, Eleanor, I continued, my tone calm. You might want to know that Bradley Investments has been on a downward spiral for quite some time. That real estate expansion last year was a mistake. Your company has been bleeding money, and the high-interest loans you took out just to keep up appearances are no secret. Amanda's complexion shifted from white to green. How does he know about that? Those records are confidential. I offered a soft smile. Nothing stays private when you own the bank. As of 9 o'clock tonight, Jang International now owns every loan Bradley Investments ever took out. We also own this building. Bought it last week. Eleanor swayed slightly, clearly in shock. This building is part of the Bradley Foundation, she stammered. Was, Thomas corrected. The foundation board voted to sell it due to financial issues. They just didn't have the heart to tell you, probably because you were too busy trying to humiliate my wife to attend the last 3 board meetings. A crowd had gathered, and their whispers filled the air as they watched the scene unfold. I could already see phones discreetly capturing everything. By tomorrow, this would be everywhere. You can't do this, Eleanor whispered, desperation creeping into her voice. I raised an eyebrow. Family, Eleanor? Let's talk about family. For 2 years, you've called me a gold digger every chance you got. You sabotaged my charity work, spread lies about my past, and even tried to set Thomas up with other women. Tonight, you deliberately tried to embarrass me in front of everyone who matters in this city's philanthropic circle. Is that how family treats family? Amanda stepped forward, desperation written all over her face. We can work something out. Daddy can fix this. He always knows what to do. Your father already knows, Thomas interjected, his tone firm. He'd approved the sale. He's known about Rebecca's identity for months and tried warning you both, but you refused to listen. Eleanor's eyes filled with disbelief and anger. Richard would never go behind my back like that. Actually, Eleanor, I would. A new voice interrupted. Richard Bradley, Thomas's father, appeared from the crowd, looking resolute but weary. I've spent years watching you and Amanda use money to hurt people, thinking wealth made you superior. When Thomas told me the truth about Rebecca, I saw a chance to finally teach you both a lesson. Daddy, Amanda cried. How could you do this? It's easy, Richard said with conviction. Rebecca's company isn't just buying our assets. They'll restructure everything. The Bradley Foundation will continue its work, but with new leadership that understands what real philanthropy is. I stepped forward, speaking softly but firmly. Starting tomorrow, the foundation will focus on empowering underprivileged women through education. Real help, not just photo ops. Eleanor, Amanda, you now have a choice. A choice? Eleanor sneered. Yes. You can stay on as regular employees, learn how to actually help people, or leave with your personal assets, which, I might add, are far less than you think they are. Thomas and his father had already signed off on the plan. The crowd murmured in disbelief. Eleanor Bradley, the queen of society, being offered a regular job by her poor daughter-in-law. It was a scandalous turn of events. This is absurd, Amanda screamed. Mother, tell them they can't do this. But Eleanor's rage had turned to fear. She finally realized the full scope of the situation. Why, she whispered. Why go through all of this? You could have destroyed us immediately. I moved closer, keeping my voice low for only her to hear. Because money and power aren't weapons, Eleanor. They're responsibilities. I wanted you to understand how it feels to be judged, dismissed, and humiliated based on what others think you're worth. Now you get to learn what real worth really is. 2 weeks later, the headlines broke. Bradley Foundation announces major restructuring, new focus on women's education. Eleanor and Amanda decided to stay, though it wasn't easy. Eleanor now works in program development and recently admitted that she's starting to find real purpose in her life. Amanda heads the outreach program and even apologized to me for the first time last week. Thomas and I still attend charity galas, but they've changed. There's no more power play or social climbing. We focus on making a tangible impact, helping people who truly need it. I still wear that red dress, wine stain and all, as a reminder to myself and others that true worth isn't in what you wear or own. It's in how you treat people. Richard retired but continues to serve on our board, proudly watching his son and daughter-in-law create something that matters. At a small family dinner the other night, Eleanor asked me to help her understand impact investing. I want to do better, she said quietly. I want to be better. And that, more than any revenge, was the victory I had always hoped for. Sometimes Thomas asks me if I miss being the secret billionaire. I smile and show him the latest reports from our education programs. Hundreds of women getting opportunities they never dreamed of. Why miss it? I say. This is the much better story. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next video. Stay stunned.